Alright, welcome to episode 29, I believe. So, episode 29, quick recap as to what we did before. So I did look over it. What we managed to do was create the visuals for the ball and created a trail for that as well. So we've done that. And then we created the visuals for the paddles, which don't show here. You won't be able to see, but I created a separate paddle visual script. And over here, what we're doing is drawing the wedge, build the wedge points and drawing over those points, and then setting the colors for the rim. I think it's over here, like rim alpha and rim color, paddle color, and setting the alphas and whatnot. So now we've got color for the rim and the wedge and the alphas for it, so that the stronger your charge is, the more stronger the alpha is. So that's what we've done last time. Let me do a quick game preview of it. So this is what we got. You could see that it's kind of dull. The alpha is really low for the paddle and the ball's like really bright. That's what I want. So I want the ball to have like a similar aesthetic to the playfield borders. Then we got the wedge, and then you can see the rim is a little bit brighter. And if I hold down the trigger, the charge goes to 100, and then once it goes to 100%, the rim actually pulses and it actually glows on its pulse so that the player is able to know that they are 100% charged without, like, it's just like another visual indicator to the player that, yeah, we're at full charge now. So this is pretty good. I like it. There are some issues with it. For example, I find that the color is a bit. I like the rim in terms of its color and its glow, but the actual color of the paddle seems a bit flat. So I want to add like some sort of texture or some sort of depth to the paddle. The ball, I like the color of the ball. I'd probably keep the size and the color the same, but the trail of it. Let me see if you could see the trail. The trail's not that good either, but that's something when I'm finalizing all the visuals. Because right now I'm just doing a first pass through of the visuals. I can sort of, once I start finalizing and actually going into detail with all the visuals, then I can get onto that. And then there's another issue with the rim where the alpha of the rim, when it overlaps on the vertices of the wedge, it stacks on top, meaning that the alpha actually doubles. So each point looks much more brighter than the rest of the other parts of the rim, which isn't good. It makes it look a bit janky. The original plan was I was gonna do all of that. So if you could see my notes here, I was gonna sort out the core color of the paddle, make it a little bit more vibrant. I don't want it to glow, but I do want it to be a bit more vibrant. And then for the white edges of the paddle, the vertices overlap, meaning the alpha stack for the points of the wedge. That was the original plan. However, I remembered I'm just doing a first pass through, so I don't think there's any point at this moment in time to go into depth in terms of trying to add depth and texture to the paddle and make it pop a little bit more and fix these overlapping vertices for the rim. I think that's better off if I do that when I go into depth with all the visuals for every element. As a first pass through, I think that's actually what I've got is fine for the paddle. So I'm going to leave it as is. In terms of what I'm going to do next in, so there's a couple things I could do. So there's two different things I could do. I could sort out this score thing because this is still just showing um it's still just showing like a flat scoreboard. It doesn't really move, I don't think. It does move a bit, but it's just showing like a normal like color, flat white color, and normal font, and the sizing is obviously off. So I could deal with that, or I could deal with the hittables. I think because I did just take a big break and I am just getting back into the swing of things. I think what's best next is fixing the HUD. So my plan is fix the HUD so that the sizing is good, the placement is better. I think it's better to be placed in the bottom left or bottom right since there's more space there. And like just try to play around with sort of the brightness, the placement, the font, the color, and that sort of stuff to make it look like it actually belongs in this game rather than just look like some debug sort of menu. So I'm going to do that. Once I do that, I'll explain. Probably after that, then I'll start working on the hittables. But yeah, let's work on the HUD and see what I managed to get done. Alright, so I do understand that this devlog's taken a while to come out. The honest truth is that, from getting rejected from that job interview, it's hard to find like the motivation to keep going and whatnot. But luckily, I started this YouTube channel, so since I started this devlog, it is like slowly getting me back to give me that like little bit of motivation. So I'm, grinding, doing a little bit each day, but hopefully I'll get back on track. Anyways, so I have the plan was what was the plan? Was to do the first pass of the visuals for the HUD and then the first pass for the visuals of the hittables after that. So I have done the HUD. Again, it's just the first pass, and I have come up with like some ideas of like what I might do for like when I really get into detail. But what I've got, so I went into HUD. This is my HUD right now. I've still got my charge bar and the game over panel over here. And then I've got a VBox container. A VBox container as well. And then that should be HBox, right? Horizontal. Yeah, so VBox container. This contains two things. So it contains the score caption. This just says score. And then I've got a HBox container here, which is a container, and it's going to have my score label, which is these digits here. It's gonna constantly keep on 00000 and then update once your score goes up. I thought it actually looks better rather than just having like just the like let's say you only got 10 points, it will just say 10. I actually think it looks better like this if you have 00010. It feels more arcadey. So we got the score label, we've got the combo label as well. So I don't have a separate combo. Before I had like combo is whatever, combo multi is whatever. So instead, combo is like a separate color right next to the score, and it will say like times 3, times 5, times 10, whatever. So we got that. I wanted to place that bottom left, and then I have this extra stuff, the other stuff which is important but not as important as the score, which is the side info. That's the lives and the extra life pool for every like super shot, whatever. I imported, if you can see, or you probably can't see because of my camera. Let's try to drag this up. I've imported some fonts. I've got label settings. I only saved the label setting for side info tree. And yeah, so I've got these placement text, and then each of these labels have a label setting. I've set like a size and color for each of them. I could do with maybe making the font a little bit bigger. I like the font that's chosen, so I decided on Chakra for any text and Orbitron for the digits. But in terms of sizing, I think I could have it a little bit bigger, but for now, it's all right. And you can see here the placement. I wanted the extra info to be smaller in parallel with the playfield border. And then over here, we've got the score much bigger, flat, so you can easily read it. So if you play it, let's play it. Let me drag this down first so that I can see all my stuff. I did run into a couple of issues, namely this anchor setting to anchor it at the bottom left, and then I didn't really understand how this label settings worked. I kept going up here and creating a new label, and then it wasn't applying, and then I realized I have to apply it here. If we run, this is what we got. I'm not sure why the taskbar always shows up. I have to like click in and click out. So we got this. I'm sure you could. Oh yeah, you can't see because of my camera. Let me drag my camera up. So there we go now. At the bottom left, you can see my score stuff. So we got score here, the digits, the moat as like a separate little addition, and then we got the lives and the extra life. So if we start playing, you'll see that the score will start going up. And yeah, so it looks pretty good. I kind of like it. I really like the accent color for the combo mode. So yeah, I like it. A couple of nitpicks. So sizing is a little bit of a nitpick. Um, that's one. Number two, what you might have noticed when the score goes up, it sort of shifts about in terms of it like the line spacing for the score, and that means the combo mode also gets shifted about as well. I'm not going to fix that now because it's fine for what it is, but when I go for multiple pass throughs and try to finalize it, I'll try to keep the score like all the digits have the same sort of spacing between them. So just so that the combo mode doesn't shift about, because I'd rather that be stationary as well. These lives and extra life pool, I'm not sure if I want it like that or running across. Also, in terms of like game feel, where I have like HUD, camera drift and camera shake, I don't want score to be applied to that, but I would like for these extra information to go along with that. I feel like it would feel more, what's the word, like immersive, you know? If this was sort of attached to the play, not attached physically, but in terms of game feel, attached to the playfield border, and the score sort of stays stationary. Also, another thing that I thought about was every time you hit, since your combo mult goes up, have like a sort of shake animation just for the combo mult, and like little tiny animations for this score area, so that you know like something's happened, maybe even like shifting colors. Again, that's for later on when I finalize, but for now, I'm actually happy with what I got. I'm sure later on I'll be able to make a HUD feel script, since in my game feel script, my game feel's already long enough. So, and HUD, for the feel for the HUD, I think it'd be better if I have a separate script. And then later on I can add that once I get to it. But I'm happy with what I've got so far. It looks good. Also, the charge bar, I do want to implement it, but I feel like that would be a longer process. So again, for the HUD, I'll once I go start finalizing my visuals for everything, that's when I'll start implementing that. But yeah, I'm happy with what I got. I'm gonna leave it as is. The next step, as I said before, was, let me drag my camera down. The next step, as I said before, was the hittables, right? So we got my hittables, that's the parent hittable. We got progress, power up, hazard. Thing is, I'm not sure how I want it to look, or the shapes, or even how to do it. Um, but it does need to show, because right now I can't see anything on screen or anything that I'm about to hit, so something needs to be done for that. there are deeper visuals that will go along with it, such as indicating when something's about to spawn. I would want something like that, and then also some type of animation for when you break something or when you hit something. That's again for deeper visual stuff, but for a first pass through, I just want to have some sort of shape to indicate what hittable it is and make it look like it belongs in the scene rather than make it feel like it sticks out like a sore thumb. So I'm going to do that, see where I get at. I'll conversate with Claude and AI and see what I can manage to conjure up. And once I do that, I can explain, and then we can end the devlog. So let me do that now. Alright, so I know it's been a couple of days now. It's been a while actually since my last devlog. To be honest, since getting rejected for that job, I've been struggling to find motivation. So I'd be hopping on my PC and trying to get some work done, and then just deciding not to, and then slowly chipping away. And but anyways, now I decided fully like just lock in for the night, scrap gym because I'm too lazy for that. No, I'm here now, and I managed to get something down for the visuals. So I've only done the visuals for the power up. So I was looking at AI, asking AI and checking on Google what's the best way to go about this. And I thought, all right, so let me do the power up hittable and make it roughly the same size. So the collision shape is, oh, is there a way I can find out? I can't remember now. Anyways, I've got my collision shape, so and also it's got a visuals node 2D, and all the progress and the progress and the hazard, all of them will have a sort of node 2D visuals similar to my like paddle and my ball and my um, borders. So anyways, we've got that. I managed to go in here, go inside my main and for level manager, I got rid of all the other hittables. Same for my hittable spawner. I only got rid of I got rid of the other hittables as well, just so that spawning it only spawns the not the progress, the power up hittable. Just because everything that I've done is just for that. So we got that. I went into power up hittable. I got the visuals node here, and I made a script inside the hittables folder. You won't be able to see. Maybe if I drag it up, I've got a hittables folder, and inside there I've got hittables visuals, which I notice now that it only applies for the power up hittable, so I might need to change the name, but it works for now anyways. So inside the hittable visuals script, what am I doing? So we've got, it's not the finalized code. I've got the radius here, so roughly matches the collision shape 2D. And here's my frame color. That's the main color for the power up hittable. So the idea that I've got is I'm gonna have different shapes as well. But for the power up hittable is gonna be green. That's for like any other power ups that I get in the future. I also have the progress hittable is going to be gold or like gold tinted, something like that, and then the hazard hittable is going to be more of a spiky shape. in terms of like shape, the visual shape for the collision shape, I think I'll keep it as a circle just to make it fair. But the hazard hittable will be red, so obviously the colors indicate, power up is green, so you're gonna get some like type of health boost, or you're not gonna get health boost, but it's like a universally known color and whatnot. Anyways, so frame color I've set to green here. We've got core color, which is set to near white, so this is gonna give that HDR sort of bloom glow effect that I was looking for, and then they get added together and mixed and whatnot. So that's what I'm doing here. So I'm going material equals canvas, new canvas item material, blend mode. I'm setting the blend mode to add. So we've done this actually before for my like borders and stuff, where with the HDR bloom and the glow, the colors get added together rather than just get painted on top of each other. So that's what that's doing. And then we got draw. So I've set it to 64 segments. And we got the first layer, which is the green layer. We've got, well, we know what draw arc is because we've done that for the paddle. So I've separated it into layers. So this is the green layer, right? Then we got the medium band builds the color up, and then we got the near white core as well. And then I've got something called draw placeholder icon. This each different power up hazard or whatever is going to need its own icon, which is going to be a pain in the ass, I'll be honest. I want something like a small icon that inside of the power up or the hazard, which quickly indicates to the player, okay, this is going to increase your paddle size, this will slow down time, this will do whatever. But for now, since I only have one version of each hittable, it's fine to just have something like this, something simple. And this might not be the final way I decide to have an icon, but it's what I'm doing now. So I've got this. This is what I took it from AI, to be honest, Claude. And essentially what this is doing is creating like a plus icon to indicate that the pedal size increases. And I don't put anything inside process. So if I show you build, run, and here we go. So I'm just gonna continuously keep hitting the ball, and here we go. So I really like what I've got going on here. Before I had like this sort of just dark green area, and before when I only added layer one, so you could see layer one at the back is like this dark green. Then there's like a thin green band around here that's much more brighter, and in the core of that band is near white, and then in the center you can see this sort of plus icon that I spoke about, drawing on the icon. And I really like the effect of this, since it kind of like goes along with that space type of, like, it almost looks like a black hole or something like that, or a lunar eclipse. So I really like that. I do want to add like certain things in the future. So of course this is just the first pass through. I do want to add stuff like animation towards the edges, maybe some type of warping effect around this. Also, some type of animation for when it spawns in, and animation for when I like break it. When I play, you'd be able to see that when it hits this inner edge, that's when it actually registers as a hit. If I can even hit it, boom, you can see there. So it feels really natural to play in terms of its like collision and hit detection. But yeah, like I didn't expect it to be that good, but it really looks like that it belongs. Let's see if it comes back in. So yeah, it really looks like it belongs, like especially the contrasting colors and the effects that I've got going on with the borders and the paddle and sort of this HUD. Oh, you can't see my HUD. I forgot about that. But yeah, it looks like it belongs in this thing. I could add some animation, which is for later pass-throughs. But I like what I got for this. Again, this is put into a script that is called hittable visuals, so I would need to change that to power up hittable visuals, and then have a visuals for each of them. for the progress and for the hazard. And then the only thing really I'm changing when I have multiple hazards and multiple power-ups is I'd need to change the draw placeholder icon section. But I'm really happy with the look so far. I'm gonna end it here. I think that's enough. It took so long, not because of effort, but because of lack of motivation. I'm happy with what I got. I think next what I'm gonna do is try to figure out a way to do something similar for the progress and something similar for the hazard. That's for tomorrow, or that's for whenever I do the next devlog. But yeah, I got what I got. I'm happy. I need to like get back on the grind and get my motivation back, but hopefully slowly I'll get there. Yeah, thank you for watching. Take care. I appreciate you watching, even though I know no one is. And yeah, see you later.